Welcome to the Fox Den Podcast, where leaders gather to grow.
Well, welcome everybody. Randy Fox here. Excited to be chatting with you today on the Fox Den Podcast with my brother, Stephen Allen Fox.
Hello, everybody. This is exciting.
Yeah, we're just going to have some great conversations every week, helping you. This is a place, right? The Fox Den is a place where leaders gather to grow. And we just want to continue having those conversations. You know, a lot of what I do in my business is giving people insights and inspiration so that they can literally transform their professional and personal life. And I know, Steve, you do a lot of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, primarily, as people may or may not know, I do that in the music world as an orchestra conductor and inspiring people and bringing joy to them and so on and leading lots of people and making that happen. But the idea of being able to inspire people and help people and have them lead more focused and successful lives is something that I get a thrill out of doing, and I know you do too. And hopefully this is a place where people can come and gain a little bit personally and professionally and get some insights from those that we bring on as guests and whatever tidbits of information we may share as well along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that some of our listeners and viewers know, a little bit about us. I know you shared a little of your background, and I spent that 20 years in the corporate world as a leader in operations and marketing, and over 23 years refereeing college women's basketball. And both of us have families and have been leading our families and our kids. And I've got grandkids now as well. And I think all of those things will come together. And as you mentioned, some weeks it's going to be the two of us having a conversation, but there's going to be times that one of us is going to have a guest on, and we're going to do that quite frequently to bring in different perspectives from different industries and different backgrounds and experiences and cultures to just really help people grow, just to be a gathering place, as we say, where leaders gather to grow. So let's kick this off today.
Yeah, and I think the reality is none of us have all the answers. So that's kind of where the inspiration for this podcast came from is none of us have all the answers, but collectively we can all find the answers. And so this is that place where people can come and hear other people's perspectives and experiences and what they've done. And this becomes a portal for them to find those things that they might need and that hopefully we can provide through this. And I think that, as you said, with kicking it off, if we're going to be talking about leaders gathering to grow, okay, so what's a leader? I think it's a fundamental question that sometimes people jump past. They want to be better at something, and it's like, well, first let's actually talk about very fundamentally in a simple level, what is a leader and who is a leader? I think it would be great for us to just touch on that today.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned you've been on some amazing world stages, from the Hollywood Bowl and working with Disney and places all over the world, that you've worked with celebrities and big artists. And I think a lot of people in that world could think of the conductor being the leader. And certainly that there is truth to that, right? People think of leaders as the principal or of a school, or the president of the country, or the CEO of an organization. And it is true, right? Those people are also, leaders. And I held a variety, of positions. One thing I've discovered, and over the last more than a decade, right? I've delivered hundreds of keynotes to about 40,000 people. And what I truly believe is that every person in that room, in all of those rooms, not because of their title and not because of their experience, but because of their capacity and the opportunity, every one of those people is a leader in some way. And for me, it goes back to a name from decades ago, wrote many books, became a very accomplished speaker. Ken Blanchard was a guy that when I was rising up in school and starting out in the business world, the 1 minute manager and the different things that he did. And then years later, he launched a faith-based leadership program, which I became a part of. And in that, he had a very succinct definition of leadership that I thought was just, it was simple and yet it was significant. And it has stuck with me all of these years later. And he just simply said, anytime you influence the thinking or behavior of another person, you've led them. And it just is a simple way to show that when people are responding and their thought process or their behavior and actions are changing because of things that you or I, right, and people are doing or saying, we have to see that influence as the real opportunity to lead, because there can be moments, right, where our kids do something and we go, you know what? I need to change my mind on how I'm doing that. It's something as simple as you might be driving your car too fast and a young kid in the back seat says, Dad, why are you speeding?
Right.
And then suddenly that influence, even the young child influences the older person. And there's so many ways.
It's intentional or unintentional. You're not, this isn't, so many times we think of leadership as an appointed position of somebody who's in charge of other people and what they say goes. And we think, well, that's the leader, not realizing that, if you're impacting somebody else or if you're influencing somebody else to do something, whether good or bad, you've led them. If you stop thinking of leadership as a noun and you think of it as a verb, you suddenly realize, well, that's everybody. It's not just a noun. It's not just a title. It's not just a position. It's not just a person, but it's ourselves. You're leading yourself on a daily basis in the decisions you make, in the habits you create, in the consistency and the dedication and the commitments that you have. You're leading yourself. So fundamentally, if you have a team of people, when I get in front of an orchestra, I, as a leader, view myself as my job is to help that musician reach their highest potential possible towards a unified goal. That's really all the appointed leader is. It's taking what we all are and saying, now take this group of people and focus them to one goal. Mm-hmm. But you're doing what everybody does. And if everyone does that for themselves and for the people around them on the team or in the family or in the community, if everybody views themselves as influencing everyone around them and leading everyone around them, but agreeing to follow the vision and the direction of the person who's been given the appointed position and title, then the whole team rises to a new level. Yeah. And I've experienced this when I was a high school band director. So one day I'm up on the scissor lift, looking down on the field. We just got done with lunch. Everybody's getting ready to start. And 5 minutes late comes the trumpet section leader. And he comes walking over with his trumpet. And I look down from the scissor lift and I'm like, okay, he's 5 minutes late. I'm not going to say anything. Let's just see what happens. He stops at the bottom of the scissor lift, doesn't look at me, puts his trumpet down and runs 2 laps. Picks up his trumpet and goes on the field. At the end of that practice session, I come down off the scissor lift and I go up to my assistant director and I said, this band has changed forever. Our principal section leader of trumpets just showed everybody self-accountability. He just did it because he's leading himself, knowing if I do this, it then shows it to everybody else. It's that kind of leading other people, helping them rise to the next level. A leader's job is to lead people to a common goal in making them reach their highest potential possible.
So many aspects to what it takes to be this kind of person that grows, and then as a result of them growing, they're growing and influencing and touching the people around them, whether it's personally, or it's professionally. And hopefully, as we bring all these different experiences and different guests with different perspectives, there will be some new, fresh insights, right? Maybe a reminder of something that they're doing they should continue to do, or maybe it's a reminder of something they should be doing that they're not, or maybe it's just a new refresh and a new way of approaching, their day, something really practical. It's going to be a really exciting journey. Actually, we're going to grow through it as well as everybody that's going to be joining us along the way.
A leader may have a singular goal and focus of where they're wanting everybody to drive towards because there's a product to make or a concert to do or whatever their team is working on. But it's not about that end goal for the leader as far as creation. The people you're leading, their job, like when I conduct, the musician's job is to create the sound the audience hears, which means that I should not connect my success to the sound, to the music the audience hears. My success is in how well I help those musicians be their best. And if I do that well, and if they do their job well, the audience hears great music.
Yeah, people don't just matter, right? People matter first. And I have another speaker friend that I'm going to have on as a guest at some point, and he wrote a book with his father called Putting People First. And it's really that simple, right? What are you doing to put the people around you first? And how can we help people grow, in those ways? And I think as we're, wrapping up today, right? It's an opportunity for us we're going to be excited as we have, special guests coming in. Please join us the next time.
Yeah.
And we're going to be unpacking all of these different topics and much, much more in the Fox Den, a place that we really hope that you will continue to gather with us so that you can grow in your life and in your leadership.
Yes, I cannot wait. Can't wait to see everybody very soon.
Thanks, everybody. That wraps up for us today. We'll see you real soon.
Visit us at foxpoint.net and StephenAllenFox.com.